there's a lot of fear involved when you try to start memberships, because you think people are going to take advantage of it, or you're going to be giving away way too much.
Hey everyone, I'm Russ, and this is the Memory Makers Podcast, the show that helps you create amazing customer experiences and make more memories. I am not running solo today. Today I'm actually joined by Mr. Zach Johnson from Rev'd Fun up in Michigan, just outside of Detroit. Zach, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great, Russ. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we're so excited that you're joining us today because we've had the opportunity and the good fortune of having you at Amusement 360 in the past and doing some operator interviews, but really excited to have you on as part of the podcast so we can also get some further reach with some of the great things that you and the team are doing at Rev'd Fun. Specifically, I want to go through some initial questions just because you guys do so many things so well, but specifically I want us to focus a little bit on the unique membership program that you guys are doing and having such good success with, because I love being able to highlight some of those things of this is something unique that we offer and we do it really well, and you guys have been crushing it with that. So before we get into the membership side, why don't you give us just a quick high level overview of, tell me about Rev'd Fun. How long have you guys been in operation, as well as, what do you guys have under the hood, so to speak, at your venue?
Yeah, so Rev'd Fun, my parents and I opened it in 2018. It's automotive themed. We're in Detroit, so we tried to be kind of vintagey automotive and tried to theme it a little bit more mature, things like that. So we have 5 major attractions: laser tag, XD dark ride, a ropes course and zip line, bumper cars, a velocity play structure. Then we have arcade. We try to do a good job with food and beverage, which is always a struggle. But so we have food and bar, so we've got a lot of stuff. We try to be appealing to all ages. We do have axe throwing, although we're thinking about removing that right now. So
just trying to find something new to
always
offer.
Evolving, right?
Yeah. So, well, the nice thing with axe throwing is that that's not a relatively large build out. So to be able to reclaim that space and find something else is new. The hardest part's just figuring out what you want to put in there that actually fits and checks the boxes for the demographic that you're going for. So talk to me a little bit about how many, your overall staff and the size and scope of that. How many employees are you guys kind of running currently to maintain this size of a facility?
Yeah, so it fluctuates throughout the year depending on seasons and stuff like that. And everybody knows probably like the type of staff we hire in this industry. Like they have sports and vacations and go to college, so it's always in flux. But right now we have about 94 employees.
Gotcha.
We're just coming out of our busiest season, and with spring sports and all of that, it's probably about to be cut. The good thing is it naturally kind of cuts down when we need it to, because employees move on to different things in their lives, and then we rehire and ramp up in the fall. So right now we're a little bit over 90.
Awesome. Well, and knowing that you have kind of that fluctuation, and one thing that I've always been impressed with is the intentionality that you guys bring to the type of culture and who you are as a company. Talk to me a little bit about what are some of the things that you guys are doing on a daily or monthly basis that you feel really is impacting keeping your identity and moving forward as far as progressing your culture when you deal with the high churn that family entertainment centers do.
Yeah. So one of every time we do group auditions when we hire employees, and one of the key characteristics I always tell them that we're looking for is we want team members who are pursuant of fun. Because I want them to pursue fun with our guests, but I also want them to pursue fun with each other. And we try to model that by trying to do fun things with the staff. So whether it's in our like daily stand-up meetings, we play games, and the good thing about those games is a lot of times they illustrate interactions with the guests that could happen. But those are fun things. And then once a month, we try to do some sort of a team activity. We're generally closed on Mondays. So we try to use at least one Monday a month to do something fun. And sometimes it's more planned and we spend a lot of money on it. And sometimes it's, we're going to go to the park and play basketball.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily hard things. It just takes a little bit of time to plan it.
And the consistency with that for
The
sure. So,
consistency, and it's like we definitely could be better at it.
well, I
But
think
I think that's good to recognize that because it forces you to always try to be better. So
absolutely. Well, and not being complacent and always
yeah.
kind of questioning and evaluating, what can we do more of, what should we do less of, how is all of that kind of vibing. With your leadership team that you have, you and your parents and the executive team all do a really good job of getting out to a lot of different events consistently, but I don't just see the three of you guys there. I mean, you're typically bringing on one or two more of your other core leaders that are also there. Yeah. So what do you find by getting them exposed to these different industry events and education opportunities? Has that helped you guys with retention? Has it just helped with better autonomy on their part? Where are you guys seeing the needle move the most by doing that approach?
I think it helps in a lot of areas. Like I definitely think it helps in retention. I think it helps keep our management team excited about the business. And I want them to always feel like there's opportunity for them to grow. And I think like we usually try to bring out a team member, at least one, or a team member or a couple of team members to Amusement 360. At least once a year. We were supposed to go next week, but some things changed. So we're going to go in the fall. But it's just such a great event where they can see what happens in the industry and they can learn from people that aren't me. And it gets them excited about things that they can do. And hopefully they can learn how they can grow, whether that's in our business or in other areas in the industry, or even with events like that, they just learn key leadership things that will help them, whatever they do moving forward in their lives. So I think those are good things to do.
Well, you said something that makes me appreciate you all the more. Of sometimes they need to learn things and not hear it from me, and not having ego attached to that is a fantastic point of view, because it's just like with life, whether it's a spouse and they finally come back and say so and so had this great idea, and you're like, I've been saying that for 5 weeks now, and so being aware that human condition just naturally needs that sometimes is a great piece. So kudos to you for that, my man. Well, let's talk a little bit about membership. So you guys have had this membership program pretty much from the inception, if I remember correctly, from all of that, or it was very early on after you guys opened. Talk to me about the genesis of kind of what led to, because it's not as typical. I mean, some folks will have it, but it gets a little bit more of, kind of surface treatment. It doesn't, lip service. It doesn't necessarily get actively cultivated. So talk to me about how that started for you guys, and what were some of the initial hardships that you faced and overcame.
Yeah, so we did not open with memberships.
Okay.
So we opened in July of 2018. And I've talked about it before at 360. Like our initial opening was our first year was kind of a struggle for us. So in February, March 2019-ish, we brought on some consultants that have really helped us. And they're the ones who actually pushed us to do the membership thing. Now, like looking back, it's so interesting to me, like how, like, it seems like the multi-attraction FEC model has been really slow to bring on memberships. Like it's like trampoline parks, that's like their main thing that they sell is memberships. But for some reason, the specific segment of this industry that I'm in, people don't do it as much. But there's a lot of fear involved when you try to start memberships, because you think people are going to take advantage of it, or you're going to be giving away way too much, and you're going to sell what you're going to charge for something which you normally charge for a 1-day pass, and people can come as much as they want, and it's going to end up cannibalizing all of your money. That doesn't really happen. But to get back to it, like when we first launched, like our memberships have gone through a couple of iterations. So initially we wanted to do a high cost membership. So it was like $50 per person. But we allowed you to cancel at any time. So, which didn't work great for us. It was a good initiation into it, but we had people just buying it for a month. Like it was summertime when we launched it. And so they just bought it for a month in the summer, then they would cancel it in the fall. And So it just wasn't as good. So in February of 2020, we decided to change that model to be a little bit cheaper. Sold the same thing for $34.99 and had some other ones at that time. I think it was $29.99 and $24.99. But it was a year-long commitment. And then those like sold awesome. We saw like, at least we felt like they were selling awesome. We sold like 30 of them our first week, and then we got shut down for COVID. So that was really great.
Really great.
All these annual memberships out there that we had to then figure out what to do with when we weren't allowed to use our business.
So what then, when you saw that shift, because it's one, you're not only charging less than what you originally started with, but then you're also 12xing the length of term of what that is. So that still can seem counterintuitive to some operators of how do you make money. So tell me a little bit about what's included in the membership, and then where do you also see additional per cap spending when your guests come?
Right. So we have two primary memberships. Our top one is our Platinum. So that includes all 5 of our attractions, unlimited play, no blackouts, anytime you want. You also get a free, we call it Platinum member food. We have a specific menu. So every time you come in, you can get free food. And then you get all the memberships get 10% off games, 5% off other food and beverage purchases, things like that. And then our second one, which has actually become our most popular, is our luxury membership. It's the same as the Platinum, except there's no free food.
Okay.
So now we actually reduced the cost of that to be $19.99, and that is selling really well. So the real benefit in the memberships is, well, there's multiple, but I mean, we all, like, it's common knowledge. I think most people will come to a place like ours 2.5 to 3 times a year. So I'm not guaranteeing, because there's different ways people can just cancel their credit cards or whatever, which is another fear that people have. It's really not that big of a deal. But you're getting 12 visits. Yes, it's cheaper, but you're getting 12 visits out of that person for the year, which is more, even if that's all they do, you're getting more spend. But we also see, it's actually going up right now, but between $10 and $12 every time a member walks through our door, they spend an additional revenue.
Is that on game cards and
on
some
game
food
cards,
and beverage?
Food and beverage. Those are the primary categories, whether that's parents purchasing food, them purchasing food, or buying play cards.
Well, that's great. So you're able to increase the frequency quite a bit, because they're more likely to come, 6+ times, 8+ times a year, if not 12 times a year at least. You're getting that for each individual one. Do you guys do any kind of family packs, like a group of 5 memberships or anything, or you just sell that still a la carte?
It's all a la carte. Yep.
So then if that group of 5 comes in, that all have memberships, they're then each doing an additional $10 or so on food and beverage or games every time that they're coming. So it gets you, it sounds like it's getting you kind of the same net result, but you've also increased brand loyalty and stickiness factor to coming to be their center of attention for where they want to do their entertainment.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's, the cool thing about memberships is your staff starts to get to know the members. So then they can interact in really unique ways and create really special experiences for them.
Right on.
Because they learn what they like. And it's a special thing to watch as those relationships form, where members come in and they get excited to see Nico. And it's just cool.
I like it. It's like the casual country club, kind of vibe, where you can do some white glove service and things, but it's just much more accessible for all of that. How many, do you know roughly offhand how many active members you guys have right now?
Right now we have just over 1,500.
Wow. Okay. That's great. So getting that volume and making that more accessible from a pricing standpoint has opened that up.
Yep.
Do you have an idea, again, sometimes it's like LA Fitness gym memberships and stuff like that. Like you get some folks that are going to, cancel relatively soon or things, or do you have an idea of what your renewal rate is after that first year, when they have a chance to go back into it?
That's a number I should know probably, but my reporting is, I have to do a lot of work to decipher some of the information that I have. So,
Gotcha.
I do know that for the last 2 years, our average member stay is between 11 and 12 months.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
So most of the members are staying for, so like we have members who their card expires or they cancel their credit card after 3 or 4 months. So like
that's going to
members
weigh
who
that
stay, like
average.
there's members
Sure.
who stay a lot longer than 12 months. There's some that don't. But we're averaging close to 12 per member.
I love that. Well, the overall experience of doing that, are there anything else or new that you guys are thinking of doing with your membership program as you continue to kind of meet the customers where they are? Anything on the horizon that you guys are tinkering with?
I want to get a lot better at our member experience. I want to make it more special and unique. I think there's ways where we could actually increase our retention. We need to get better at communicating well with our members, whether that's through email automation or text messaging or something. And then along with that, creating more special member experiences, whether that's, hey, members can come in on this Tuesday night and we're going to do a craft, or like simple little things that where it's like that little bit of extra special thing that they can participate in.
Yeah.
That's what I want to increase, where they can, because it's like they come and they play on our attractions all the time.
Sure.
It's like they're not as excited about the attractions because they do it so much. So if we can create other little experiences,
more of the community aspect of it. Yeah. I love that. It's so funny. I was literally coming back from Amusement Expo and I was on the plane with a different Zach Johnson who has our Lucky Putt down in Terre Haute, Indiana. And he was talking about, starting to reward your high scorers and things like that with some like trinkets and mementos and kind of extra special pieces where he's like, I want to give a golden, Lucky Putt ball to anyone who wins like the leaderboard for that day, and then when they come back they can get some money off of when they play. And so almost having some more of that kind of, hey, you're in the club, aspect to your membership, creating some more of those unique pieces for them would be a really cool opportunity. Yeah,
and people love that stuff. Like we took they just redid the Dave & Buster's that's close to us, and we took our management team there. Yeah. And they gave them like this Dave & Buster's swag, like a wristband, and it's like they got so excited about that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like those simple little things like makes people feel special and unique. So
absolutely. Well, I'm excited to hear as you guys are adding to that mix and figuring out more ways to value and specialize within your membership program. We are all ears because I just love what you guys have been putting together with all of that. I think that's a great place for us to wrap up. If people have questions on this, I know that you, Zach, and your team are very open about sharing what works, what doesn't, what's been successful for you, and kind of pitfalls that need to be addressed on the onset. So thank you so much for joining us. This is a fantastic opportunity for folks to learn a little bit more of how to be successful in the non-traditional way. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Russ. Thanks for having me.
I love it. Well, thank you all for joining us as well. With that, we always have our weekly episodes, so be sure to come and check us out as you come back. And if you like what you heard today, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We always appreciate that 5 stars. Please and thank you. And if you have any ideas for future episodes, shoot us a message on our website or social media channels. And as always, big shout out to Mikey Mike on the 1s and 2s for working the Ultranet for us. And we will catch you on the next one, Troublemakers.